Okay, what do we have here? Oh, okay, well, I think it's the official US PlayStation Magazine demo disc number 70? 70, yes, 70. Alright, so, before I get started, I just want to say I'm gonna sound a little bit bad today, because I'm coming down off of a COVID infection that's been fucking me up for the past several days. So, perhaps this is a bad idea to record this, but I've already got it booted up, so let's do it. As usual, I will be loading this, uploading this as 2 separate episodes. These PS2 demo discs had a lot of content in them. 2004, MLB 2004, so I'm guessing this came out in 2003. So, the PlayStation 2 ran from 2000 until 2006 with the launch of the PlayStation 3. So, 2003 was a decent ways into the console life cycle. Although it doesn't really feel like it nowadays, it's taking a lot longer for developers to really get a handle on console hardware nowadays. Which is why, despite the fact that we're, 3 years into the PlayStation 5's life cycle now, and we're still seeing a lot of cross-gen games, and we don't really feel like we have anything. Wow, look at that texture that didn't load, or perhaps doesn't even exist.
Complementing his fastball with a good slider and an above-average change.
Am I? Okay, I am the pitcher. Oh no, I'm the batter.
Lays off the heater.
That was just missed inside, Vin, trying to keep him off the plate.
Look how bad that texture is back there. Is that a bug? Do I push square to swing?
Strike one.
I don't freaking know what to do.
Fastball.
Do I press circle? What the fuck am I supposed to press? I've got 2 strikes now.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And he delivers. He's out on strikes.
I can bunt. I figured out how to bunt.
So he gets the strikeout, and he's working for another. Batting second, Rich Aurelia. Into the windup, here's the pitch.
That's going to be a ball.
Got to bring it down.
Oh, no, it wasn't a ball.
1-0.
Just bunt.
Bunt down the third base line.
I'm going to go out, but
No problem. Batting third.
if I could figure out how to fucking swing. What? X swings. There's no momentum in that at all. He just sort of does it.
Strike 2.
Wow, it's way, like, you'd think that, like, in real life, you'd have to start your swing almost at the moment that the ball is released by the pitcher. But no, as soon as I do it, he just swings like a motherfucker. So my timing is just way off.
Foul ball.
Alright, I finally hit a ball. That's a... Honestly, I haven't really been into any baseball games ever since Super Bases Loaded, which was a fucking Super Nintendo game. So it's been quite a while. I have seen that these baseball... Wow, that was terrible. I have seen that these PlayStation, these Sony-developed MLB games do look amazing. Alright, let's do this. Oh, I'm the pitcher now.
Hit well.
What? That literally went right through the pitcher.
Batting second, Darren Erskine. And here's the pitch. Out of the zone.
Out of the zone, my ass.
He lets it fly. Goes with the heater.
Right down Main Street, Vin. That was a dangerous pitch.
Easy play.
Yes. Yes, it was... No, it was a double play. What the fuck? That was a double play.
Batting third, Tim Salmon.
What the fuck? Alright, I'm done. Fuck you. That was absolutely a double play. God damn it. MLB Street Volume 2. I guess a lot of these games at the time, we were still in an era where... Well, you had the proper NBA games, but then you had the streets, which were like street basketball games. And I guess they were trying to replicate sort of the feeling of something like NBA Jam, where it doesn't go simulation. And is trying to be a little bit goofy and over the top. You know, anything for a buck, I guess. You can skip over the intro. Yeah, it's a pickup game. It's a street game. They're all pickup games. It's weird that they're in... Well, I mean, it's an old game. It's a 20-year-old game. So it's like the modern guys and the legend guys, but I'm looking at a bunch of not modern guys. Legend guys. I guess I could have had Dr. J if I had picked the old school team. Yeah, I'll figure it out as I go.
From this very roof, and we're not going to get a better view of basketball for this very game.
Alright, I'm seeing a lot of weird texture failures and rendering errors in this. Like, a lot of the environment is popping in and out. It's like it's having culling issues, because it's all around the... It's all around the edges of the screen. Why? Okay, so it's still culling issues, even though it's occurring off in the distance as well. So it's at the edge of the screen. The game can't determine if what's happening is on screen or not. So it's going and removing objects so they're not being rendered because it thinks they're off screen. But it's also things that are off in the distance are far enough away that it's trying to determine if it should render them or not. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but it's having rendering problems. These aren't texture issues. Now, of course, I'm playing all of these. I play all of these episodes of Demo Disc Theater on emulators, so it's very possible this is an emulator issue. In fact, it's most likely. I doubt any developer would have subjected people to this for something that is like a demonstration of their game, trying to convince people that they should buy it. Ooh.
Nice pass back to yourself.
I don't know how to play this. Surprisingly, though, I'm actually not doing terrible. I am losing, though. This is actually pretty entertaining. I guess I see why people liked this back in the day. Did he kick the ball? Fuck you. Venus? Alright, I'm gonna get out. Game's a little too fucked up. Freaky Flyers. I don't know what this is. Developers. Midway. Midway defunct. Midway. Man, I can't believe Midway is gone. It's one of the most iconic developers of the 90s.
Johnny Turbine. Raised an orphan on a dude ranch in Montana, Johnny grew up herding cows and dreaming of a better life as a true blue American hero.
Not blue, more kind of like a fleshy colored American hero.
Johnny's famous smack attack was perfected while herding cattle.
Moving along now, Bessie.
Unfortunately,
What the hell am I watching?
learned to smack back. Johnny hopes to be a big Hollywood star.
The biggest in the movies. Winning this race will get me a multi-million-dollar contract.
I doubt it.
What did you say, mister?
I said I don't doubt it. I just forgot to say the don't part. Good luck, Johnny Turbine.
I get they're trying to be funny. It's not, though. So, is this a racing game? What the hell am I... The game froze. Game froze. Alright. Ah, shit. Rendering errors. Let me try. Fuck. The demo's bugged out. Alright, I'm gonna have to restart this recording. So the actual emulator crashed. So I think it might be something. I'm gonna try again, see if it... Oh, nope. Froze again. Alright, that demo just isn't gonna work. I've tried twice and it crashed both times. So we're moving on to Dynasty Warriors 4. Now, the original Dynasty Warriors was an interesting game that I would say I only played once, where it was a fighting game, a one-on-one fighting game. But Dynasty Warriors 2 comes out for the PlayStation 2, and it is the first in these sort of massive scale battle games, which unfortunately hasn't really moved much beyond since then. But it is what it is, and Dynasty Warriors is always just going to be what it is. And if you don't like it, then I guess Dynasty Warriors is just never going to be for you. One man, or actually you do have an army on your side, but it's a one-man versus an army thing. And I guess the PlayStation 2 was really the first game console that made something like this practical, because you need that extra processing power, because like the N64 or the PS1 never would have been able to do anything that really established these larger scale battles. Now in reality, you're never seeing a whole lot of enemies on screen at once. I mean, this is actually a lot for the era, and the AI for these things, it's pretty dumb. The characters are decently detailed, especially considering how many of them there are on screen at once. But it was really kind of the... It was always kind of pushing a boundary as far as how good games could look. And this does actually look... What is this? Dynasty Warriors 4 or 5? I forgot the number. Like Dynasty Warriors 2, something I played the demo more than I actually played any of the actual games. Doesn't look nearly as good as this. like, so what was this, 2003? So a few years into the PlayStation 1's PlayStation 2's life cycle. So of course developers were getting more of a handle on the hardware, being able to push it harder. More detail in the characters, more detail in the environment. Everything just looks that much better. And of course, the game's hitching a little bit, but that could just be an emulator problem. PlayStation 3, of course, you started to see a lot more of these sort of Dynasty Warrior-esque games. Like they were something Warriors, like Gundam Warriors, where they took the Dynasty Warriors formula and they applied it to some other franchise. Gundam, I guess. There's, what was it? Hyrule Warriors was another one that really confused the shit out of me why people were so obsessed with it, considering it was just a Dynasty Warriors game. But I guess there's always been a... just people just sort of sliding across the floor. Nintendo games do get a kind of a pass in a lot of ways. Like, by the point of... let's see if I can make this point before I lose my headspace. Kind of hard because I'm still a little bit sick. By the point that Hyrule Warriors came out, oh, they're freaking windmills. Or fans, I guess. By the time Hyrule Warriors came out, there wasn't really any wow factor in the Dynasty Warriors formula. The whole that many enemies on screen thing had been done before. The games themselves were very formulaic. Nothing special happened. There was nothing really special with the game. They always had a story to them, but the story was never very good. They always had characters, but nobody really gave a shit about the characters. So Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors comes out, and it's basically like there were never any of these games on a Nintendo system. So, froze on me. Never any of these games on Nintendo systems. So, it was kind of new for Nintendo fans and like Nintendo-only fans. Not the porn site. People who only ever play games on Nintendo consoles is what I mean. That was useless. So for them, Dynasty Warriors was kind of a new thing, even though it was like a couple of decades old by the time Nintendo saw any of it. But like people gave it reviews well beyond what the game deserved. And it's kind of always a thing with the Nintendo series where, in my opinion anyway, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, if you were to score, like, let's take a 10-point score of 1 through 10, 1 being the lowest, of course, 10 being the highest, Nintendo games will, in general, score 1 to 2 points higher than they really deserve, simply on account of them being Nintendo games and them having Nintendo characters in it. So if Hyrule Warriors was a game that deserved like a 7 out of 10, it functioned, it was, although in some platforms it didn't. It was decently fun, but there was nothing new to it. It was something that we had seen 1,000 times before. But it gives a solid 7 out of 10. Well, it's going to get an 8 or a 9 out of 10, simply on account of the Nintendo characters that are applied to it. In case Legend of Zelda. You blocked that, you motherfucker? I'm not capable of hitting too many guys here. Let me eat this friggin' roast that you just dropped. I'm having a lot of hitching, like loading hitching. You can hear the disc spinning up every time that the game hitches. I don't know if you can see it in the recording, but the game is freezing every once in a while. And it's really irritating. But every time it happens, the game starts loading. So I guess it's trying to stream this data off the disc, but the emulator keeps turning the disc off. Which I guess the actual PlayStation 2 wouldn't. So it's slowing down. Garlic or whatever the fuck. You just gonna block every one of those? I remember I was so enamored with this series when it came out, though. Because it was... When I got the PlayStation 2, I had made a rule for myself that every game I got would be something that did offer something new. Because I didn't want to just play, like, games that could have been a PlayStation 1 game on a PlayStation 2. I didn't want it to just look better. So it's like, oh, well, Tekken Tag Tournament. Yeah, well, it's a good-looking game, but it's really just Tekken 3 on the PlayStation 2. So it's like, should I bother? Well, I did eventually get it, and I did like it, but like Dynasty Warriors, there was a Dynasty Warriors for the PlayStation 1, but it was a very different kind of game. Dynasty Warriors 2, though, amazingly different, new, innovative, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll buy on board that. So the fact that it did offer so much new. The game froze on me. And it was so different that, like, I was just obsessed with it for a little while. Alright, the game froze. Syphon Filter, the Omega Strain. It's a video, but it's not loading. Finding Nemo. Another video, which isn't loading. The fuck? Hunter, the Reckoning Wayward. Another video that is not loading. Nothing. But I can go into the demos. It's weird. This is an emulator problem. I'm going to jump into the... Oh, wow. Even the demo isn't loading. Okay, so I'm going to restart the emulator. And then I'm going to try this again. Alright, so there is definitely a problem with the emulator. It updated before I started this episode, so it's possible the latest update has just introduced bugs. Hopefully that gets fixed. But rebooting the emulator seems to have resolved it, so we get to watch our videos. Syphon Filter was a game series that I never got that deep into. The only one that I played start to finish was Syphon Filter 2, which I'd found to be rather frustrating of a game. It was definitely, like, the PlayStation 1 was not built for these kinds of games, these kind of 3D shooters and stuff. The PlayStation 1's controller wasn't that well optimized for 3D movement. The DualShock 2 was pretty good for it, or the DualShock was pretty good for it, but you didn't see that many developers really take advantage of it. So it was alright for its day, but it definitely doesn't hold up in the modern day, and even at the time I was a little frustrated by it. But that was Syphon Filter 2. This is Syphon Filter Omega something, I don't remember. By the time the PlayStation 2 came out, I had just completely gotten over the Syphon Filter series. Honestly, I can't even I remember off the top of my head if it's still an active series. Sony does have a whole lot of first and second party IPs that they have that they just don't do anything with. You're not playing as Gabe Logan there. Who was that? I mean, I'm sure people out there like Syphon Filter. Each their own. Finding Nemo. Never watched this movie.
Can't get enough of Finding Nemo? Catch all the fun this spring with the Finding Nemo video game. Swim through the ultimate underwater adventure game as you
Doesn't look
guide
half
Marlin,
bad.
Dory, and Nemo through more than 15 levels of fun and tons of mini games featuring all the great characters from the newest Disney Pixar movie. This spring, you can own the Finding Nemo video game. Product not yet rated. Available wherever.
By the time this
video games
came
are sold.
out,
And don't miss
I just
Finding
wasn't
Nemo the
into
movie,
Disney
coming to
movies
theaters May
anymore.
30th.
So, wasn't kind of the Hunter, the Reckoning Wayward. For some reason in my head, I always got the title reversed as the Wayward Reckoning.
They are called hunters.
Are they?
Men and women imbued with the power to battle evil hidden in the darkness
Battle evil.
of our world.
Why couldn't this have been a demo?
Their mission is more than just saving the innocent. It's saving one of their own. Hunter, the Reckoning. Wayward.
Okay, Vivendi. LucasArts. How we miss you. Fuck you, Disney, for ruining that.
So you want to fight in the games? Do you have what it takes? Different warriors are like animals. Some are fast and deadly, like the snake. Others are slow but strong, like the bear. Know each warrior well.
I want to get out of here and see the world. Take me with you to the tournaments.
Then let's leave this place.
So, was this like a tactical RPG? Okay. I guess. Looks kind of interesting, though. Maybe I'll look further into this. I know I keep saying stuff like that. I mean, there's so many games now. Something that I feel is a big difference from when I was a kid was the availability of games. And it's not just having more disposable income than I did when I was a kid. Just, there's simply more available now. So when I was a kid, I was born in the 80s. So I got an NES in like 1990. Which was late for that, but I was too young to play video games in the 80s. But, like, my mom had pulled out of the basement an Intellivision and a ColecoVision that she and my dad had gotten before I was born, and an Atari VCS. So they had some video game consoles. And those were my first gaming experiences. But once I moved past those and we got the NES, I didn't look back and play those old games anymore. They just disappeared out of my vision. And then with the NES, we got a few games. I don't really remember how many, but we got a number of games for that. But once I got the SNES, the NES just sort of disappeared. So there's a big back catalog of games I could go back to. But thinking like the NES generation, you had games that came out for it. Like, you had a relatively small number of releases for it, and I was only ever going to have a relatively small number of games for it. But like Super Mario, or let's say Legend of Zelda, was a game that had come out early in the NES's lifespan. But all through its time on the market. That was a game you could walk into Toys R Us and just buy, because it was always going to just be there. Because there were only like so many first-party games from Nintendo, and they tended to keep them on the market for a long time. And it's like, yeah, this is a Nintendo game. You think about it, like you think NES, you think Legend of Zelda, you think Super Mario Brothers, that kind of thing. Nowadays, though, game consoles will release games that they land on the market, and then like they make the vast majority of their money within the first few months. When they're full priced, they're there, they're available, then you like for the PlayStation 1, I guess, was the first console that this really became the case with. A game would launch, it would cost about $50, $50 depending on the title. The first few months is when it would make the vast majority of its money, and then it may go out of production, or it may hit greatest hits library and go back into production at a reduced price, but the price went down later on and you'd see sales trickle in. But those first few months was where they made the vast majority of their money, and that's when they determined whether a game was successful or not. Nowadays you have online distribution, PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, the eShop, App Store, Steam, whatever, so you can see games have a very long tail at very reduced prices. Like you can go and you can pick up like Tomb Raider Anniversary or some shit like that if you really wanted to right now, and it would cost you like $2. Now, the companies that own these games will be... I'm way off topic. What am I even talking about? Oh, about... God, I am so fucked in the head right now. Point is, there's so many games available right now that, like, I don't have to look back to the 20 years ago to the PlayStation 2's library and say, like, oh, well, that's an interesting game, I should go check that out. There's just so much. There's so much available, so much stuff on the PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, freaking Wii, whatever. Not just to mention PC games back then, that I don't really need to hunt for gens. Like, there's just so damn many of them around. And even modern releases. There's so many modern releases now that, like, even if this ends up actually being a fantastic game, I don't really feel the need to go back and look at it. So even though I said I should check that out, I'm not gonna. Anyway, that was a long ramble. But, you know, the episode was over anyway, so. In the next one, I'll go and check out all this other stuff. Oh, Tomb Raider. Okay.